welcome back to Swish Happens. I'm Aiden.
I'm Dylan.
So it's been a little bit, 2 weeks.
Had a little all-star break of our own,
Yeah.
We're back though.
Yep, for sure. It's been a bunch of good games. What you got for us?
Real quick, speaking of all-star break,
Yeah.
what'd you think of the game?
I thought it was interesting. The All-Star game itself, the format was fun. It was new. It was exciting. Guys actually tried.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people were saying it's stemming from Victor Wembanyama, stemming from Ant. It was very exciting to watch, the All-Star game itself. Dunk contest, but the All-Star game was exciting to watch.
I agree. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the Wemby and the Ant thing because I think that more than the format, I think it was those guys. And I think, obviously I think that the format did play into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I do wonder if this is sustainable. Because I think Wemby seems like the kind of guy that's going to give it every year.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if other guys kind of step up to the plate. And I think that it's so reliant on those guys trying because if the games were all blowouts, even if the guys were trying, I think there'd be different conversations. But because, the last game was a blowout. But the first 3 games were really great games. Kawhi had like 30 in 12 minutes, which was absurd.
Crazy.
I think there was good performances and guys were trying, and that helped.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, I don't know how controllable that is, but I do think they're onto something, though, with the format.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think the World versus USA adds something. I think both sides want to win. But also, now that you have a guy like Wemby and a guy like Ant that will try, does that mean it could work in most formats now?
Sure.
So,
Full game, maybe they
Yeah.
can go back to. Yeah, it's interesting. The format in question makes me think back to when they were trying out the Elam ending there, or where they would set like 27 extra points. And that year one was good because there was, again, similarly, the product was a little bit better. And then I think they went back to it and the product wasn't as good, which I don't think is disparaging for the format. It's just that it wasn't a great game. So I think I don't mind them tweaking it over and over again if it continues to make the product better. I think at the end of the day, I don't really care if there's 9 teams of 3, as long as it's good basketball, people are trying, if that makes sense. So I think it was good, and I guess we'll see what happens next year with it.
Yeah. There's been one topic of discussion that gets brought up a lot with the All-Star break. How would you feel about a one-on-one tournament?
Love it. I think that should be in place of the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Because I think a one-on-one tournament, for me at least, wouldn't be as star dependent in terms of my enjoyment of it. Where I think that I would love to see just good one-on-one basketball, and it could be different every single time. Where I think just with the dunk contest, we've seen I'd say 90% of the dunks that the human body is capable of, we've seen already, and then stars don't really do it. So
it would be sad to see the dunk contest go, because I don't know. I feel like especially 80s, 90s, 2000s, that was it. The dunk contest was almost the cream of the crop of the All-Star game, besides the All-Star game itself.
Absolutely.
But I do think a 1v1 would be very exciting, very fun to watch. I just don't know how many superstars you would get to do it because it would be an ego thing. But it is very successful. That Unrival, the 1v1 for the WNBA players that they do. Yes, sir. But that works very well for them. I just don't know how many NBA players would do it and what I think it would have to be a money thing.
I think that's fair too. I think if you gave a good prize, I think it would be something that young guys would be interested to do. I think it'd be cool.
I think it would be really cool. And I agree. I think it would be a young guy, maybe 6-man type guys or just starters that are trying to get more of a name for themselves. I don't know how easy it would be. I don't think LeBron James would do a 1v1 tournament. He's already said he doesn't like 1v1s.
Yeah.
But I think you could get potentially a guy like KD. I don't know now that at his age.
Yeah.
But I think for sure if you would have got Thunder KD, hey, you want to do a 1v1 tournament? I think he would love to do it. I think you get a Carmelo, Paul Pierce's, guys back then, or just a little bit ago. Would love to do it.
And I think that there's something you could really do with the marketing of it. I'm not saying go full blown WWE, but you could kind of, because one-on-one basketball's so mano a mano. Like even not just the NBA, but like but back in over at the courts at the rec center or back home when I'm with my friends, like everyone wants to kind of be the best, get the one up on the next guy. So even if it is Jace Richardson let's say it was the 4 guys that were in the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Like a week before, maybe you start to kind of not really shit talk, but like build a rivalry, build some excitement. Like so, I think there's just more that you could do with the marketing of it too. Where with the dunk contest, it's just like you show those guys dunks from the year, and then they come out and everyone does a variation of something.
Yeah, and I mean you kind of already lose the dunk contest before it starts by not getting the guys you want in the dunk contest.
100%.
So
100%. Yeah, it's tough to hype up something like that if you don't have the stars.
Yeah, and I think any 1v1 would be fun to watch with NBA players.
Easily. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do next year because I think that like this is a real transitional point in the league in a lot of different ways with the tanking and a lot of other things, and I think this All-Star game could be kind of a part of that change of like we did things way A for the last 20, 30 years. Let's try to switch it up. So I think Silver's listening.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know we got some other stuff. Just I just want to just say I love NBA League Pass.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
I'm like last night I'm flipping between the Thunder. Who without their stars, I'm watching Casey Wallace drop 27, Isaiah Joe 20. I'm flipping over and I'm watching Kevin Porter Jr. drop 30. I'm watching Kuminga drop 27. Well, like I pulled the top 10 scorers from last night, and I think it's a beautiful list. So Paolo was at 1, Ant was at 2.
Yeah.
Tied for 3 is Kevin Porter Jr., Maxey, Buzelis. Number 6 is Jaden McDaniels. 7 is DeAnthony Melton, and then tied for 8th is Cason Wallace, Kuminga, and Joel Embiid. I just
great.
love like night to night basketball, like, especially like for guys like us that watch hoop like that. I just think it's the greatest thing to be able to like flip channel to channel. Some nights it's gonna be stars. Like I ended the night with Paolo versus Luka and LeBron. But I started it with Kevin Porter and Casey Wallace.
Yeah.
I mean this league.
It just shows how talented NBA players are.
100%.
I mean, I say this all the time. Like the NBA is really what your role is, because there's like 40% of guys that could go out and give you 20 plus if you told them to go, hey, just go score.
Yeah.
And I just think that's something people don't really realize. Is there's a lot of guys that could go score. It's just how efficient can you do it and how much does it impact winning.
Yeah.
That Lakers Magic game was crazy.
Fun game.
I mean, Paolo, in the second quarter had like 10 points, like close to the end of the second quarter had 10 points.
Yeah, looked terrible. He looked like the Paolo he's been all year.
Yes, and then he kind of just flipped a switch. The end of that game was very interesting, specifically the last possession.
The Brown and Lucas stuff?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think Luka 100% has to take that shot.
Yes.
I don't know what I've never seen Luka really hesitate on a shot like that. I don't know why he would have.
Yeah.
And what he saw that made him hesitate. I mean, he was a little far out, but you're Luka Doncic. You've never told yourself this is too far.
He's taken and made shots throughout his entire career that have been way tougher than that.
Yeah, and he did not have enough time to hesitate. And like, I think you see a clear look, and you're Luka Doncic. You take it no matter where you are.
Sure.
That was just really interesting to see that, and then just toss it to Bron for just a chuck.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's funny? One of the first things I thought, and like I don't think this is an indictment on Luka or anything like this, but it's just the irony to me of him passing up a good shot to give to Bron. It just reminded me of earlier in Bron's career, like way earlier before he won the chips. I remember it was like year 1 in Miami, and he had like he had the ball with the game on the line, and he passed to Mario Chalmers, and everyone like cooked him for it.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that Luka's like that. Like Luka wants the ball in his hands most of the time, but I just thought it was interesting, and I just think that coming down to the playoffs, when you are going to be relying on these guys to, especially Luka, to have the ball in his hands to win games.
Yeah.
I do wonder. I think that's when his decision making last night does matter. And was that just a one-off thing? Maybe he saw something that we didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was interesting.
I was very curious to what did he see or what was he thinking? Because like I said, I've never really seen him pass up an open look like that.
No.
And not really have another bailout or another option.
Yeah.
It just looked really weird, especially with the game on the line.
Exactly. Yes, it's something to monitor for sure. Yeah, I think with this Lakers team, I did like the way they looked last night, and I think that I'm not changing my tune, but I'm a little more interested with them in a playoff setting, especially with what's happening with the teams around them. But that was an interesting little decision making thing at the end of the game. I agree. But yeah, it's been fun watching film night tonight.
Yeah.
Love it. So do you want to do our three players?
Yeah, let's do it. I just forgot of one that I wanted to add on my list here.
Okay. Yeah. So before the pod, we talk about stuff to talk about, and I want to do something where we each give like three players that we really enjoy watching that are like underrated. I went with some pretty deep cuts. Just because like I love that kind of stuff. Like I love like role players that are doing stuff no one talks about.
Yeah.
But I want to see what you got because I think it'd be cool if we had different ideas.
Mine aren't that deep. I honestly kind of got guys like, if you think about underrated players, they probably kind of top of the list. But I honestly looked at it more as I want to see these guys on a winning team mostly. Like my bottom three are. But I'm gonna add the guy I forgot to put on here. Isaiah Joe.
Okay.
Has been lighting it up.
Yes, he has.
Every other night since SGA's out.
Yeah.
I've always loved Isaiah Joe. I mean, I'm a Thunder fan. I love every single role player, every single player on our team.
Of course.
But Isaiah Joe has been here for a while, and he's just done the same thing for us. Like if you ask me, we're kicking it to the wing. For somebody to take a shot, I'm probably taking Isaiah Joe every single year he's been on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But then next I've got Colin Gillespie.
Okay. Yup.
He has been a sneaky. I mean, he's playing 28 minutes. He's only averaging 13 points, but he's doing what he needs to do. He's doing his role. He went from averaging 4 points on the Nuggets and only played 24 games. Then on the Suns only played 33 games, averaging 6 points. But now he's been playing every game. Playing a lot of minutes. His usage has gone up a little bit, but he's a career 42% three-point shooter.
Insane.
Insane. And I think he's established himself as a good role player.
Easily.
Kind of like, I think he's like. Also, I was going to put on this list Grayson Allen. I think they're both very similar.
Sure.
But Colin Gillespie is actually shooting way more efficient than Grayson Allen from the three-point line.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. I may also have Colin Gillespie on mine, so I'm with you.
Next, I've got Alex Sarr.
Okay.
Who's not really, I mean, he's a top pick. I mean, he's not like a super underrated player, but I think he's getting overlooked because he's on a bad Wizards squad.
No one's watching Washington.
No.
I get it.
And I'm hoping that the Wizards are picking it up now with these new acquisitions and maybe a new top pick. I hope we get to see him in a new light on a competitive team.
Agreed.
I think he's a great player. I think his skill set is very good for the NBA. Right now he's averaging 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. I mean, he's putting up numbers. Now it's just the winning.
Massive switchable defender. I mean, like I love like players like that, like, especially like moving into what's I think gonna be the modern NBA. Is I mean there's not gonna be Wembys and Chats walking around all the time, but I think that guys like that and this kind of Sarr mold too of like like big, massive wingspan, athletic. Is going to be, kind of those key pieces moving forward. I think Sarr is being overlooked and not being grouped in with those other guys yet, just because there hasn't been a ton of winning. Yeah. So I'm totally with
For sure. I think if you are a team that has like obviously nobody has Wemby besides the Spurs, but you have a Wemby type, like we have Chet, Sarr, other guys like that, you have an advantage on the league.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially with Sarr too. I mean, I remember the beginning of the year on this pod, I was a little bit critical of how much he was being used offensively. Like his usage rate was like one of the highest in the league.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it does a little bit remind me of actually what Dallas was doing with Flag, and like when there's not a lot of expectations for winning, you can kind of give the ball to these guys and have them develop a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that on top of Sarr's defensive talents he already has now,
yeah.
I think, when they're ready to win, I think these, even though there's a lot of losses, him having the ball in his hands a ton is really going to help when he needs to actually, win.
For sure. And going off that, I mean, his usage rate is up, but he is actually up 10% in his field goal percentage. He's shooting 49.6%. Last year he was shooting 39.4%, and I think like the thing that says the most is he's averaging the same turnovers, 1.7.
Huge,
Yeah.
huge. That field goal percentage though, because I remember that there was definitely a little bit of discourse at the end of last year of like, wow, like is this guy even like a starting caliber player because of how bad the offensive stuff was?
Yeah.
Which I think that was an overreaction, but I think that there was some real question marks there. I mean, that's massive. If he can have the ball in his hands more, shoot more efficiently, and not to turn the rock over, while again still being borderline elite defensively.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think in like 2 years' time we could be like, wait, why were we talking about Alex Starr?
Yeah.
So I think that's a great pick.
And then these two next guys have kind of been on these lists for like ever since they've been in the league. I just like them. I just like any player like this that is an efficient 3 and D players and big on the defensive side. Trey Murphy and Herb Jones.
Love it.
They've just been rotting in New Orleans, sadly.
True.
I think you put them on a winning roster, they impact it a lot. Almost like a McCall OG type of like effect on a team. They're not gonna be the star. They might not even be the number 3 guy, but they will be perfect starting caliber players.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, Trey Murphy this year is averaging 22 points. He averaged 21 last year. He's shooting 38% from 3-point line, 48% from the field, averaging 1.5 steals, almost half a block.
I'm curious how good he can be because I mean, like I think Herb Jones could be the absolute elite star in his role, 3 and D guy on a championship team.
Yeah.
I think Trey Murphy. I'm curious if he could even be a little bit more. If it could be like the third option,
Yeah.
third scoring option on a championship team,
Yeah.
and bring some defensive stuff too.
I think Trey definitely has the higher ceiling
Yeah.
in the 3 and D category.
For sure.
But I think both of their floors are low. Like, you know what you're getting out of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, this isn't really a deep cut. I mean, they've both been on these lists since they've kind of been in the league. I just really want to see them on a better team.
No, I'm with you. Yes. So I think like with my list, like I think I went with a different through line, which I honestly wanted. Like I wanted us to have some kind of different thoughts about it.
Yeah.
So I was looking more at like guys that are like bang for your buck kind of guys. Like I look at contract stuff. Guys that like on a night-to-night basis, like I was talking about before, how I love League Pass. Like how like when you're watching a game and you're like, oh wait, that guy like it starts out as, oh, who's that guy? Like I'm not sure who that guy is, and then night to night it's like, oh no, this guy's a solid player. So I'll start with Gillespie because I had him here too. I thought he's been fantastic. He's making under $3 million this year. He's an unrestricted free agent going into next year.
Yeah.
I think he could be making over $10 million a year.
For sure.
I think at least. I think he could triple his salary. He's top 20 in the league in 3-pointers made a game.
Yeah.
5th on the Suns in minutes. 1.5 steals a game. Like, he's just been damn solid. And just a kind of random fun stat that doesn't mean anything. I just thought it was interesting. So I know we're going to talk about stats later, but on this great website called Data Baller, if you like stats, go to Data Baller. There's a stat called on-ball percentage, and it's different than usage rate. On-ball percentage is literally like the percentage of the time when you're on the floor that you have the ball.
Yeah.
His is at 27%, Gillespie's is, which is basically the same as Jokic and Kawhi. So
Yeah,
I just thought it was funny. I mean, all those guys are in the top like third of the league, and how much they have the ball in their hands. I thought that was kind of a fun stat. Okay, so next guy, Pelly Larson from the Heat.
Okay.
So probably one of the least flashy players, maybe ever. Like it's not like he does a lot, really, really well. But I think what was interesting, he has a bottom 25 contract in the league. He's making under $2 million.
Yeah.
And if you look at the list of guys making under $2 million, it is dudes that even I've never heard before, and I feel like I'm a ball knower.
Yeah.
He's making $2 million. With that being said, averaging 10, 3, and 3, started 35 games this year, playing 25 minutes a game. And I just think a really interesting thing for me here is that Nikola Jovic, also obviously on the Heat, is going to be making $16 million next year, and he plays less and starts less than Pelly Larson.
Yeah.
And I just think that he's going to knock down threes. He's a pesky defender. He doesn't dominate the rock. And I just think that guys like this kind of exemplifies Heat culture, where it's like he got picked midway through the second round. Didn't play a ton last year, and now this year is a key piece for them, and like they're going to make the playoffs, or they're going to be in the play-in.
I mean, they're sitting at 8th. They're 1 game behind the Magic at 7th and 1.5 games behind the Sixers at 6th.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like he's getting these minutes on a bottom team.
Exactly, and Tyler Hero's missed a ton of time. Like he has stepped up. Like
Yeah.
when I thought the biggest beneficiary, I thought this was going to be a Jovic year. I thought this was a massive Jovic breakout year, and I think that it hasn't been. And I don't think that's totally because of Jovic. I really do think that Larson really has been that solid night to night.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to highlight him. Well, like he's not going to be a guy that's going to be a star.
Yeah.
He's never going to sniff probably any accolades, but he's just going to be one of those guys that whether he stays with the Heat or I think he could get. Like an okay contract, like under $10 million contract, and be a rotation player on like a championship team.
Yeah.
So my last guy, I shook it up a little bit. Like this guy's definitely more of a known name, but I think it's been underrated. And I like that you mentioned Trey Murphy and Herb Jones because I have Sadiq Bey, another Pelican.
Yeah.
Sadiq Bey's he's been good this year. He's coming off a torn ACL.
Yeah.
He is putting up career highs in points, offensive rebounds. Almost a career high in usage rate and a career low in turnover percentage.
Yeah.
So he's getting the ball more. He's scoring. He's not turning the rock over. He's being as productive as he's almost ever been. He's getting paid just about $6 million a year, which is the same level as like rookie contracts. I mean, the only other guys that are getting paid around that aren't rookies are like. I think D'Angelo Russell's in there. I think Jay Will from the Thunder's in there, who I think is a little better. But I mean, I think that Sadiq Bey. He's cheap. He's a guy that I don't know if he could go to a contending team and be a starter, but I think he's like a really solid wing, a good rebounder, a good scorer. That it's just cool to see a guy that I feel like I was pretty high on. I mean, like he was in Detroit. I know he was on those losing teams, but he had like a 50-point a game or 50-point night, excuse me. And then after the torn ACL, like sometimes these guys don't come back like they used to. But I think he's quietly been having a really really good year.
Yeah, Sadiq Bey was actually a guy I was looking at when I was looking at Trey and Herb Jones.
Yeah. And then I had a couple honorable mentions. I don't have numbers for these guys, but just more just want to throw some names out there. Both Dispenser Bros, both Pat and Cam, on the Warriors and Memphis have just been lights out shooters, just gritty, just like great defenders.
Yeah, I mean
shit talkers. Like
every other week, I feel like I'll see one of them like put up like 20 something and just be talking.
Yeah, shit talking KD.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that shit. So they're fun. Mamu from the Raptors is just like he reminds me of like Yusuf Nurkic if he was like stronger. To be honest, like he's an underrated passer. He can actually shoot the three pretty well. This Raptors team, I don't think that this Raptors team like this. Grouping that they have is going to do much, but I won't be surprised if some of these guys from this team, either on Toronto or somewhere else, Mama specifically, go and are like high level role guys. And then a guy who I think could end up being more than a role guy, Isaiah Collier was the last one I wanted to mention. He's like, I think he's top 15 in the league in assists. And that's while he's been on a team with like Keontae George has been having a great year. Markkanen, the guys that dominated the ball, he's just been able to produce. Pass the rock around at an elite rate, and he's a young player. I think he's going to be a really key core in Utah's future, and I think that he's especially because Keontae George has been so good, he's been a little bit kind of overshadowed.
I agree. But you wanna let's get through do you wanna do the finals prediction real quick, and then get to the stat, and then what else we got? So my finals prediction. Real quick, I don't know. I feel like it was too hard to dig too deep. I just went number 1 versus number 1, Thunder versus Pistons.
Okay.
I'm taking. I honestly, I don't know. I'm a Thunder fan, so I can't really honestly couldn't see the Pistons win this series.
Okay.
The way the Thunder have looked, I mean, we haven't been amazing, but we've been a little bit hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I still took Thunder at 6 if we have home court advantage, 7 if not. So that's what I took.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, so I have the Thunder going as well. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not biased. It's obviously biased. But I just think the Thunder defensively, even though they're not at a generational rate that they were in the beginning of the year, they're still the best defensive team in the league, which means something. And I'm going glass half full with the injuries here because I'm just hoping that to be honest, the game last night against the Raptors, kind of worked into this too. Giving guys like Casey Wallace more burn. Allowing Jared McCain to get into the offense a little bit more. Have some stuff ran for him. having more offensive depth than we did last year. So if so the game plan for other teams isn't purely just like let's just take Shea out of the game, put the ball in someone else's hands. I think that still probably will be the mindset there. But I think that if you have when AJ is back healthy. I don't know if Isaiah Joe maybe played out of the lineup again in the playoff for defensive stuff, but I mean, if you have, Kaysen being able to score the rock like he has been, McCain playing spot minutes, and AJ Mitchell off the bench, I think that just helps us have 1 to 2, sometimes 3 offensive creators on the floor for 48 minutes, and that's not even talking about dub. So that's the Thunder. Okay, so I have the Knicks. I have Thunder, Knicks. And I just ran the Knicks through the other 3 teams in the East. So I think I took the Knicks over the Celtics because I think that the Knicks perimeter defenders could do a pretty good job on Brown and White. I'm pretending like Tatum's not coming back because I don't think he's coming back.
I think it would be smart if he doesn't.
I agree. So if Tatum's back, there's a different conversation. I said Knicks over. Oh, and then also for Celtics, I think during the Vucevic minutes, I think Cat could really eat. I think Kata could do a little better job, but I think that the Knicks could be shaded there. Knicks over Pistons. But the Pistons out of the elite teams in the league are just the most horrific three-point shooting team comparatively. They're not terrible, but they're shooting like 35% a game from 3, and I just think shot luck alone is going to get them. And I think that this one is totally non-stats. I think the fact that the Pistons have had the Knicks number all throughout the regular season is going to shade in the Knicks' favor. I think it's so tough to beat a team. Well, like every time you beat a team, I think it's tougher to do it again after that, if that makes sense. And then just Knicks over Cleveland. I just don't trust James Harden, and I just don't trust Cleveland's perimeter the defense with Harden and Mitchell.
So I was totally with you on the Knicks about 2 weeks ago, but I've got something for you then.
Okay. What do you got?
Well, I'll just go into what I've looked at, some stat. I think we might have been different on the stat thing too. I looked at a couple stats, but one kind of trend going on right now.
Okay. Are we doing our stat right now?
Yeah, you want to go into it?
Yeah. So we also want to do just like a stat that's like not talked about as much.
Okay.
So we each got one. So this is yours.
So like I said, mine isn't like really a specific stat. Mine is kind of just a trend.
I like it.
Going on right now. Since the Cleveland Cavaliers have acquired James Harden,
okay,
they are 5-1 with wins against the Nuggets and the Knicks.
Yeah.
They lost to an injured Thunder. That game could have gone both ways, but the Thunder ended up taking it. So that was potential 6-0.
Yep.
They are now tied third with the Knicks. They're both 37 and 22.
Yep.
They, in the last 6 games with Harden, they are 3rd in offensive rating, 4th in net rating. Pre-All-Star, they were 8th in net rating.
Okay.
And Jarrett Allen has been averaging 19 points, which is up almost 5 points from before, and only up 2 minutes.
I did not know that.
With James Harden in the lineup.
Interesting.
James Harden over the season is averaging 8.1 assists. I forget what he's averaging in the last 6, but their offense looks a lot better than it did with Darius Garland.
Agree.
I think he adds a lot to this Cavs team. He can score when he wants, but I think just being that playmaker and like primary ball handler, kind of giving a little bit less responsibility to D-Mitch has been really good with them, and obviously especially with Jarrett Allen. A boost of 5 points just from getting one player is a lot.
I wonder how he's getting those buckets too.
It's a lot of pick and roll stuff.
That's what I was gonna.
A lot of pick and roll stuff.
Interesting.
And them just moving the ball and him catching it in the middle. He's looked really good. I was watching the Knicks game, which kind of led me to my next thing, but we'll get your...
Okay, my stat.
Yeah.
Side note, I hate the Cavs orange jerseys.
Oh my god, that was probably the ugliest game I ever watched, was the Cavs Knicks.
Dude, and orange is my favorite color on the planet. This wasn't planned, I'm wearing orange today. I hate that orange.
Yeah.
Just a quick side note. Okay, so my stat, again from Data Baller. I'm not sponsored by Data Baller, but I'd love to be. Okay, so this stat is potential assists per 1 minute on ball. So basically what this stat is that like if we're playing, I swing you the rock, you shoot, that's a potential assist.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it goes in or not. So I thought this was interesting, just kind of thinking about like guys that are like swinging the ball around and like if every shot went in, like which guy would be on the
I like potential assist stat a lot. It shows a lot more than just regular assists because you can't control the ball going in the basket.
Exactly. And I mean, I pulled the top 10 leaders, and I kind of have thoughts of why the list is like it is, but I'll share after. So the top 10 guys are the names here: John Conchar, Dylan Cardwell from the Kings, shout out, Joe Ingles, Old Man Al Horford, Lachlan Olbrich, Luke Cornett, Draymond, Colin Murray Boyles, Nurkic, and then this guy Spencer Jones from Denver. So I thought it was an interesting list, and there's a majority of big guys on there, so that made me think that maybe
Pull and kick.
Yeah, exactly. Like guys are hitting into the middle and kicking out. I'm not gonna say that this is the most useful stat, but there was so much to pick from on this site. I thought this was something interesting. I love passing and that kind of stuff. So I thought it was an interesting stat.
Yeah, when I watch games, I watch a lot of college basketball, and I do a little bit of scouting on my own. One thing I was looking at a lot when I was looking at the point guards was potential assists. Just how much are you swinging the ball? How much are you finding the open guy?
Yeah.
I think it is a very good thing to track. I mean, it's not something that you can just base it off of because a lot of it is situational, how there's a lot of just random big men on there. But I think it is a really good stat to look at. Say you're just comparing players or just trying to find who's swinging it.
Yeah, I think the big thing with this data baller site is that a lot of these stats could be not the answer, but if you cobble some stuff together, find some trend lines. Who knows? Dylan Cardwell showed up on a couple of different stats.
Yeah.
For some rebounding stuff, for some rim protection stuff. You add this stat in, and then you start to get some of these, maybe underlooked trends on players that funny enough that we were kind of talking about before. That maybe just from watching or from just the naked eye you're not really seeing, but for advanced stats or whatever, maybe the guys are better than we think.
Yeah.
So just interesting there.
Yeah. And we got 15 minutes to get through. We want to name two teams, one from the East, one from the West, that have to prove the most in our eyes before the playoffs. And trailing off of past conversation in the past 5-10 minutes, my team from the East is the New York Knicks.
Okay, I like it.
Before the season, midway through the season, about a week or two ago, the Knicks are the best team in the East. I think they beat any team in a series due to their star power, due to shot luck, and just I think they have it. But I've watched a couple of Knicks games, and this is what I got on them. I just looked at them versus Pistons because I think this is what it comes down to. They are 0-3 versus the Pistons this year, as most people probably know.
Yep.
But it's not just about losing these games. They haven't been in one of them.
They've been rocked.
Their average point spread is -28. So going back from the most recent game, which was about a week and a half ago, a week or two, they lost 126 to 111. They lost 118 to 80. They lost 121 to 90. So they're under 100 points in two of those, being at 90-80, and they've let up more than 118 in all of them. And if you want to say, oh, maybe they were hurt, maybe they weren't. They were without Josh Hart in the 90 to 121 game, that's it. They were without OG Anunoby in the 80 to 118 game, that's it. But now look at the Pistons. Pistons didn't have Jalen Duren in all of those games.
That's great.
And they were without Isaiah Stewart in their most recent ones. They didn't have Duren or Stewart in their last 126 to 111 game. They lost, this is the most concerning thing about it. They shot worse in every single game, which is a nod to the Pistons. I think they shot over 47-48% in every game.
Yeah.
But the average percentage for the Knicks was 41%, which is not good, but it's not they just had terrible shooting nights each game.
Yeah, agree.
They also lost the rebound battle in every single game, which I don't think, there's three things. There's rebounds, free throws, and turnovers. If you lose those battles, you never win a game.
Yeah.
But they lost the rebound battle in every single game, and that's without the Pistons starting center.
Duren. That's troubling.
And then they also lost the turnover battle and shot worse from the free throw line in every game but one.
Okay, that's big. Those are some compelling arguments there. So what did you say that they shot 46% of those games from three? The Pistons.
The Pistons shot over 47% from the field. Maybe even over 50 in each game, which is a really good shooting night for the Pistons. There was one game or two they didn't shoot as well from the 3-point line in every game, but overall they shot very well in each game.
Fair.
Which I will give, that is one thing that the Pistons might not be able to do in a whole series, but still the other things are just way more concerning than the shooting.
That's fair too. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm wondering because I watched all those games and yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sitting here trying to come up with like a comeback for how the Knicks are going to figure it out, and I don't have anything concrete at the moment. I mean, I think the only thing I could kind of sit back on is the Pistons maybe shoot a little worse in those games, and then I mean I do like these additions that the Knicks made at the deadline. Like I think some of these fringe additions, like I think Alvarado's pretty good for them. Maybe he can be a little peskier on the perimeter defensive side as kind of like a game to the Brunson's Yang offensively.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean. Those are pretty damning statistics. I don't have much to come back at
because I was really high on the Knicks, and then like watching the Pistons games and then watching this past Cavs game, I was just like, they look when they're not good, they're not good.
It's really bad.
It's really bad. Then I looked at I mean this isn't the primary matchup for either of them, but Jalen Brunson versus Cade Cunningham when they're guarding each other. So Cade has been on. Neither of them are the primary defender. Jalen Brunson's is Asar Thompson and Cade Cunningham's is Mikal Bridges.
Makes sense.
But Jalen Brunson has 96 possessions with Cade guarding him, and Cade has 48 with Brunson guarding them. And this is alarming. This is on Data Baller.
Yup, shout out.
So if I'm the Pistons, I want Jalen Brunson guarding Cade every single time because per 75 possessions, Cade Cunningham is averaging 74.4 points, 10.8 assists, but then 12.4 turnovers. But true shooting 73.8%.
Yeah.
And free throw attempts 12.4.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm sure a part of that is because of the small sample size. But what that means in that small sample size, Cade is just obliterating him in a bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, for the Knicks. The problem has been and always will be with this rendition of the team is that their top two best players are borderline defensive liabilities. Brunson is a defensive liability, and Cat is borderline defensive liability. And I think that would be the Achilles heel to really see if this team, if OG and Mikal and all these other defensive guys can do enough on the defensive end, and I mean I guess on the glass too, to kind of make up for. The deficiencies of the two best players. So that's interesting. I mean, it's taken me a long time. I think even on this podcast, I've been, I've said that I didn't think the Pistons would end as the number one. I think I'm past that. I think the Pistons are definitively the number one team in the East. And you're making me rethink my finals pick a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I was totally with you. Like I was totally with the Knicks. I was like, yeah, the Pistons are a good regular season team, but that's about it.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, this Pistons team last year, that was probably a little above half of the team they are this year, I think.
Yep.
Took this Knicks team to 6.
Okay, yeah, that's valid too.
In the first round.
Tough series, and now they have that under their belt. Just some strength of schedule stuff for both these teams, just when we're talking about seeding. So, let's see, Detroit has the 11th toughest schedule for the rest of the year. They got the Thunder twice, the Spurs once, the Cavs twice, the Wolves twice, and then a couple other good teams. The Knicks, however, have the 6th easiest schedule moving forward. So they still do have Thunder twice, Spurs once, Celtics once. But other than that, it's looking a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, not as much of actual seeding purposes, but more for Detroit in these games against these great teams. I mean, the Thunder played the Pistons tonight, which is a little bit of a gift for the Pistons because of the injuries. But I think in those games against the Spurs, in those games against Cleveland twice, if this Pistons team can continue to perform and win against all these teams across the top that have totally different makeups, so the Pistons can win in a bunch of different ways. I think I could be changing my tune even more.
I will say something for the Knicks. They are 2-1 versus Celtics. They're 2-1 versus the Cavs, and I think they have a favorable record in the West top teams. But I just was looking at if they can't get past the Pistons, who I think they will probably have to play.
Sure.
I'm worried for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that top four at the very least in the East is a bloodbath, and then who knows what Philly, maybe Toronto, maybe Orlando. Who knows? Some of those teams could play a little bit of spoiler too.
Yeah.
So nobody do my East.
What do you got for your East?
I do have Orlando actually.
Okay.
I was thinking more in the vein of Cleveland, to be honest. But then that Paolo performance last night really resonated with me.
Yeah.
Like, I have a buddy who was a big Paolo fan, and like I think he's been in my ear a little too much too, so that might be part of it. But I just think that throughout all this injury BS, throughout all of this, questions about Paolo, if he can come out the other side and return to form, like he was in years past, through all of the, if he can return to form and they can win games through all this adversity, I think they'll be a better team for it. And I think last night was something where I'm not bought in on that. I'm not sold in on that. I'm not sold. I'm not saying I believe in that yet, but I do think that's interesting. Franz is not going to be back for still a couple more weeks. He has his ankle sprain. Who knows what's going on there? Suggs has had a back injury. I think this is a real make or break point for the Magic. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs. I mean, they're not going to be in the playoffs, but I think that people have been talking about just the top 4 teams in the East, and I think rightfully so. But I think this Magic team at their best, with everyone healthy, I think could come in hot and upset someone. But on the other end, if this thing last night with the Lakers. And in the Magic's last 10 games, that they're like fringe top 10 and like all major stats aside from some rebounding numbers, so that they've been on the uptick. I think it's a boiling point. I think that people went from the last couple of years saying, oh, like Paolo and Franz are one of the most potent duos, young duos you could have, to now I'm hearing conversations of, is this going to work? And I could see it going either way. So I think a lot to prove.
I totally agree. And before this season, I thought the Magic were going to be that team in the East that were like 3-4, but could potentially make it through.
Agree.
But I mean, I guess that just goes to show in the NBA you can't just ride on potential.
Yeah.
Because potentially, if this team is playing at their peak, they're one of the top. They're on par with the top of the East teams.
100%. So much talent.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I actually do like that a lot. I just kind of went a little top heavier with the East one.
I think it's
because I've just been watching a couple of the Knicks games and I was just like thinking on it. I was like, man, what's going on there?
Agree. How about out West? Who do you have out West?
So the West, I have the Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay, I like that.
Because I saw something, and I've always kind of been just on the worst side. I've been on the bad side of the Lakers. I'm always just like looking at them like, oh, are you guys gonna work?
Glass half empty kind of thing.
Yeah. So they're 6-11 versus top 10 teams, which is one of the worst of the top 10, top 12 teams. But what's even worse is they're 1-9 versus top 5 teams, which is OKC, Detroit, San Antonio, Boston, and New York. Their one win was versus I think it was the Spurs. I think they were 1-2 versus Spurs. But I just look at that team and I say I don't think they could beat anybody in a series. Any of the top teams in a series. They might get lucky and make it past the first round, but I don't even think that happens. They are 11th in offensive rating, 24th in defensive rating, 18th in net, 25th in free throw percentage, and 3rd last in rebounds per game.
That's awful. That's almost every major stat.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, they got a lot of figuring out to do. What made me think of the Lakers right off the top of my head was last night. I mean, that's a game you got to win. Against another competitive team, you got to pull those games out, especially in the West when you're sitting at 6th and you are a game or two behind the Suns. And you don't want to be in the playoffs, I don't think.
Agree. Yeah, I mean, with the Lakers, I think the only silver lining is that in terms of the top, every team above them in the West, I think the team I feel best is against the Rockets.
Yeah.
Just because I think the Rockets are the ball handler, I think there's questions there. But I don't have any notes for anything you said, really. I'm glad to have empty on the Lakers, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so my West team real quick. I have Denver, which is...
I like that.
I love Denver.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to do this because I love Jokic so much. There are some numbers that are really troubling. I know that they've been injured. In their last 10 games, they have a bottom 10 defense while having the number 1 offense.
Yeah.
But that's skewed a little bit because they beat Portland by 50 last week. 5 of their 6 losses in February have been only 5-point games in the last 5 minutes, which to me I was like, okay, maybe that's a good thing. They are 29th in clutch defense. So they are blowing games.
Yeah.
They are 1-6 against teams above them in the standings. They beat Boston in January, I believe. And here's the big thing: they have the toughest strength of schedule remaining, number one, for the rest of the way through.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going to be fine. I think Gordon and Watson will probably be back in the next couple weeks. Their coach Adelman said he's hoping for 20 games, the last 20 games, because in their first 10 games, which is crazy to say, that's the last time everyone was healthy, they were 8-2. So I mean, if they can put that healthy team together, I think they are by far the number one contender to beat the Thunder.
Yeah.
But they got to figure it out because something is not clicking right now. And injuries are a big part of it. There are a lot of other teams that are injured though, and still pulling stuff out.
Yeah.
Jokic alone has been fine. Everything else has got to be a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because I was actually looking at the Nuggets too. That was probably my second on the list because I was seeing their record versus other top teams. And just they sank from, they were number 2 like earlier in the season, and now they're number 4, but they're half a game behind the Timberwolves. I mean, they're tied with the Rockets. That 3, 4, and 5 are all a half game apart.
There's a lot that could shake up the rest of the way with those teams.
But yeah, it's the defensive things, and usually how you said they lost their last whatever by 5. Usually they're the team that pulls those out.
Clutch games, man, and in the playoffs, most of them are going to be clutch games.
Yes.
So I'm interested to see what happens the rest of the way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then definitely this last half of the season there will be a lot to watch. Not a lot to talk about though.
Yeah, well, we'll get to March Madness. We can start talking rookies and tanking. The playoff picture will start to kind of mold a little bit.
Yep.
And then it's the NBA. There's something going on every night.
Yeah.
It was KPJ last night. Who knows who it could be tonight?
Yeah.
So maybe it's Colin Gillespie tonight.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, should we do a random hooper? Get out of here.
Yep, let's do it. Oh, I gotta think.
I got one.
All right.
I think. Okay,
All right.
so I have the only man to ever win a dunk contest wearing a jacket, Brent Berry.
Brent Berry.
Son of Rick.
Yeah.
He was wearing the jacket during the whole thing. I think it was the '99 dunk contest. A clip came through the other day. I'm like, yeah, that's my random hooper.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he also shot the free throws underhanded. So
Yeah.
legend.
Legend. I got one. He was a good player in the NBA, but he was one of my favorite in 2K13 on the Sixers. I got Thaddeus Young.
Thad Young,
Yeah.
dude. I like the journeyman Thad Young. I think
Yeah.
Thad Young would be good in today's NBA too.
I think so too.
Love it.
All right, thank you guys for watching.
So what happens?